Zscaler's DNS control offers both resolver. By default, we do the resolution of DNS traffic if the DNS packets is received on Zscaler's data centers. We also support transit options. When I say transit options, what it means is if customers choose to resolve it through a third party or a ISP provided DNS resolver or any other subscriptions they have with other vendor from a DNS perspective, you could always resolve using those third party. In that case, we act as a transit of just forwarding the DNS query into appropriate resolver out in the internet. And other important area when it comes to privacy is because the nature of DNS packet is oftentimes UDP 53 or TCP 53, anybody in the internet, when it is resolved through something like a open source 8.8.8 from Google or 1.1.1 from Cloudflare, oftentimes anybody who is sitting in the ISP network could sniff that, can identify and look at what the activity is for that particular source IP address, and they can use that as a target for phishing campaigns and so on and so forth. So there is also an inherent benefit of leveraging Zscaler's trusted resolvers because of the privacy. Because when the DNS packets are resolved by Zscaler, that request will never go outside of Zscaler's data centers. So always it gives you that privacy and eliminates one additional attack vector from security attack surface standpoint. Also, Zscaler's DNS resolvers are deployed locally in each data center for a faster and closer geo-proximity reasons. So as I mentioned, across all the data centers, we have an individual DNS resolvers clusters made available in each of the POPs or data centers. As you could see in this example, the clients forward the DNS requests or queries to Zscaler platform. Once that request comes to us, by default, we do the resolution with an option of sending it to upstream resolver based on the configuration. And Zscaler behaves as a recursive resolver by talking to root servers, authoritative servers, and all TLD servers on behalf of the end user. Here, the role that Zscaler plays in DNS function is partly determined by how you're forwarding the traffic onto the Zscaler platform. So based off of this, let's look at a couple of things on how you could forward the traffic to ZIA, and then look at what is the impact depending on which type of traffic forwarding scenario. Zscaler's DNS role is determined by how the organization forwards traffic to Zscaler. If a client is only forwarding web traffic to Zscaler, which is port 80 and 443, then Zscaler will not see any DNS client-generated request. But Zscaler is a secure web gateway platform. That means we do the man in the middle. So whenever a traffic goes to example.com or a request comes, HTTPS request to example.com, even if we don't see the DNS request, we do our local resolution to example.com to initiate a new connection from the platform onto the destination. So we have a capability, even if we don't see the DNS request, we could apply security policies, DNS optimization policies, even in some specific scenarios where we don't see the DNS request coming onto us. Also, Zscaler performs a second DNS resolution, which is what I meant by even though we don't see DNS request, since we do the initiate connection to the server, we have to do a DNS lookup, and we leverage that for optimization reasons. For example, in case of Office 365, one-click configuration, automatically, no matter what the destination IP of the packet is, when it goes to Microsoft services, we always make sure we override that with a closest front door Microsoft server, guaranteeing a better and faster user experience. Now, clients forward traffic using pack file. Oftentimes it's explicit proxy forwarding, and therefore Zscaler has to rely on this mechanism of DNS resolution by looking at the SNI of the traffic from the client hello and do appropriate optimizations. The best way to leverage DNS capabilities from Zscaler is to forward all ports and protocols to Zscaler, including DNS requests. That way, Zscaler's destination NAT will do a NAT on source IP and the DNS request to the locally configured DNS servers that the Zen is using. So this is achieved by having a branch office location with GRE or IPsec type of tunneling capability. The main option for forwarding DNS traffic to Zscaler is through endpoint and network tunnels. And when it comes to endpoint, this is where you could use a Zscaler client connector with Tunnel 2.0 option, which has a lot more granularity in allowing you with a whitelist of DNS requests and blacklist and bypass options and so on and so forth. When it comes to network-based tunnels, which is GRE and IPsec from sites, there are multiple options there, whether you could be coming through a tunnel option or tunnel-less option, in which case we have a mechanism of leveraging Zscaler data center VIPs, virtual IP addresses, as a resolvers. And by looking at the source IP of a known location, we can apply the appropriate policy. As you can see clearly, DNS traffic, which is seen on Zscaler platform, has a full proxy-like capability in providing advanced security functionality as well as performance optimization capabilities.